Hi, I'm Kendall Niles, and I'm going to discuss with you time management with software engineering. Software engineering is a discipline used when developing software in a workforce environment in an efficient way. Throughout the years, the discipline has been modified to make it more efficient and adaptive to the project at hand. The modifications include the methodologies that have been updated to be more adaptive to fit the programmers and the project's needs. With the proper execution of software engineering, the project can be completed with ease. Time management can be the key for software engineering and increasing productivity for each individual. However, research has shown that with the lack of time management, the project is bound to failure. With time management, though, it leads to productivity, enhances self-organization, and a stress-free environment. Projects who meet their deadline not only save money compared to those who miss a deadline, but also enhances the project's quality. So there's many objectives that you're trying to meet while trying to use time management. And we're going to go over just a few. So categorizing the task between productive work and busy work, and we'll go over that more in the next section. Planning ahead for more efficiency, delegating tasks to the right person, staying away from procrastination, increasing communication, promoting positive atmosphere and mental attitude, handling interruptions properly, and saying no to unnecessary tasks. And next we're going to go over how to categorize the task so it's more beneficial for the project. So you have 4 different categories that I've noted down. Some tasks may have a higher value because it is late work, therefore it becomes in the crisis category, and it needs to be addressed immediately and has high value and the deadline is already late. Another category that could be used is the productive stage. This is where the value of the task is high, but the deadline is still on time. A busy zone would be described as a lower value task that the deadline is yet to be determined. Finally, there's an unproductive task, and this is where the value is low and it is without a deadline. So a format to be followed to keep time management is the SMART. So we have 5 different topics, and it's specific, measurable, obtainable, relevant, and time-bound. So with specific, you always keep the task as clear and as simple and significant. When setting goals for a project, the task should always be clear and described well. With the lack of this, focus and effort can be misled to the absence of motivation. Measurable, the task should be meaningful and able to track. The importance of calculating goals permit the team to stay on task to measure the project. Obtainable, assigning tasks to the proper person equipped with the skills for that task. Focusing also on realistic and achievable goals. We have relevant, which is staying realistic with goals and tasks. The goal must matter to the project in order to drive the project forward. And time-bound, staying within the time frame and keeping deadlines. Always set target dates for every goal and task. Now we will focus on the case study that I found. So the case study that I found was based off of a 7-study case study that focused on the area of managing time on development projects. So a recurring trait noticed in the manufacturing for software communities began to point out the importance of time management in new projects. So the original scope of this project was to examine the development of life cycle. However, it led to the discovery of the need for time management. In this case study, these main 6 topics were the focus of this project. So in this quote, it says, "Our research on this topic adopted the perspective that time management in new product development would be affected by the organizational structure in place and the particular problem-solving process employed." Time is not a priority goal in the project's goals. 6 of the 7 cases had set time targets. With the lack of time management goals, it became hard to consider how to incorporate time management into it. While other projects believe that functionality and cost are a higher priority. Based off the study, only 2 of the 7 cases listed time as a priority in the overall goal. For the other cases, they explained that the functionality or the cost become a higher priority. Also, the factor of the product is relevant to time management in the project for the company. The research conducted provides that setting cycle time targets for planning a new project is a critical management needed for companies. For further explanation, understanding the priorities and targets dramatically increase productivity. There are also many influences on the time management of the project, such as external and internal sources. Another notable delay in projects are the lack of the familiarity of new projects. This happens when the project has the lack of resources and the planners of the projects fail to note the time required to be familiar with the requirements, technologies, so that it is planned successfully. The final note is failing to plan for the team members to actually learn the technology and the time it takes to adapt to it. The final data shows that managing and planning the product with time management involved, and also specifying the product's development lifecycle time for the projects are priority in this case study. Noted by the author was time-based management is here to stay. In the field of new product development, the issue is not whether to reduce cycle time, but how to do it more efficiently. Through this empirical research, it was noted for a project it became relevant that time was always underestimated. It has become apparent that software engineers are more likely to underestimate the time needed to complete developmental tasks individually. Some issues in projects. Software engineering projects flop due to the lack of scheduling the project's needs to meet the deadline. Unfortunately, studies clearly show that time management make a large impact on a project. Software professionals still do not take into account from experience that time estimation is very important for any project. Most project planners forget to take into account estimations that are needed for a new project. They try to take a new project approach for planning based on the project's requirements. Since each project is viewed as unique, project development do not think to reflect on past projects to improve upcoming ones. Time management is still the same no matter the uniqueness of the project. Another issue noted during this study showed that the project can be overloaded from the practical scope that can be finished in a successful amount of time. Scope overload is described as an excess of unneeded and needed features for the project. The project was conducted with three dependent variables: total time estimated, the amount of time over required features implemented, and the number of features included. Research shows that time estimation was done incorrectly in this study by the participants. The groups were randomly assigned, and they still all overestimated the time they actually needed to implement the features that were required. The final conclusion is there is a correlation between the three variables, a simple cause and effect with the lack of time management. This causes the other variables to fail as well. A final remark by the author states, the underestimation of development time is possibly at the root of both planning problems. While conducting my research for time management in software engineering, it was very hard to come across anything. However, the research that was found notes just how important time management can be to a project. Also, categorizing tasks allow easier scheduling and time management. And the format SMART also can be applied in many different ways, but always very productive. For the case study, while it was originally conducted to examine the scope of the life cycle of software engineering, the concluding data showed that time management was an important part of the life cycle to a project. Majority of the team did not use time management and classified it as a project. However, the few that did not agree put cost and perfection of the project to a higher standard. One of these teams missed the deadline by 4 months. This leads to a loss of money. The empirical research did a study on groups by giving them the 3 focused topics during the development of their project. However, the actual purpose of this paper was to focus on the total time estimation variable that was given. The study concluded that out of the 3 dependent variables that was given, which was total time estimate, number of features included, and the number of over required features included, that time management was superior to the other 2. If time management failed, so did the other 2. Concluding, based on evidence and research conducted, time management in software engineering is a major component for developing software. With the proper technique, time management is the way to complete a project successfully and on time. Time management is the foundation of software engineering for developing world of software. And here I have noted the references. Thank you for your time.